who wants to do a recap of last time?
Realized I took 0 notes, so I cannot do it.
It was
I
I
I
only
think I
remember
can
the
pull it
murder.
off.
it was fairly
I
madcap as
so
far as it goes.
yeah. So I believe I don't know if this is where it started, but like I remember that we turned in for the night at the inn in to to be announced the name.
The
And right. And Dux began having a sort of like sea touched vision, one that's felt familiar. And he leaned into it and successfully ended up leading us all after waking us all up to a goblin child that was being kidnapped by some shady figures. We handled them incredibly efficiently, and Dux and Sev interrogated the last survivor with the help of Constance's calm emotions at first, and then Dux
intel.
punched him the fuck right out of it and put him in a headlock. And we got some information that they were going to take this child to like a place in the financial district, I believe it was.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And like the sort of a marker for it was that the lamps were offset a little bit from each other on the wall of the building. And so we got there suspiciously quickly, looking at you, Zeticus. And then we realized that the whole building was a front, and all the shady shit was going on downstairs. After, of course, we broke in and did some snooping, dispelled the magic things that were on the trapdoor leading down, and then had a big ol' fight with a bunch of more shady dudes. I believe there was this uh I forgot whether she wasn't a Triton woman. She was a like a Firbolg or like
Goliath.
The
half giant.
Goliath.
Goliath. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. I nailed it in three. um, this Goliath woman who, in my opinion, didn't really seem like she started the fight with them. However, like very quickly, like as soon as things started heating up, she used the invisibility that one of the shady folks gave her to start eviscerating shady folks, but Beacon kept attacking her, and eventually we had some help from the the Vanguard,
Vanguard.
um, who came in with some radiant las bolts, which were probably just him casting magic. And yeah, so we ended the fight. Sev found the children that were locked in like a cart with a bunch of bars and junk, and unlocked it. Handed the kids off to Constance and the Vanguard. And yeah, I believe that's where we ended. The Vanguard is going to take them somewhere safe, I believe, like he did the other child, but I don't think we've gotten to that yet, if I'm remembering properly. We haven't really figured out what to do next,
Yeah, we
and
stopped where we were.
and
Yeah, but we've like set him up to go and take care of the hard problem, which is the children.
right. Uh, was that good? Did I do good? I
Yeah,
feel like
you
that's
did
where we
good.
are. No notes. Woo!
No notes. Yeah, so where we left off, you all were about to start, like, ransacking and searching the place. So everybody can roll me an investigation if you want to just start rummaging around, including on the I guess you can tell me whether you're looking at the spot or the actual people.
I'll probably be rummaging around for like paperwork, information, arcane shit. Oh, jeez.
Nailed
Do
it.
we see an office? Because as I recall, we mostly saw like dorms for children, like
Yeah,
down
there
here.
isn't like an office area. This looks like barracks, kind of, or like
Okay.
a hideout. So
Then
there's
yeah,
no
we look.
obvious place to look. You kind of would have to just sort of scope it.
Uh, yeah, if there's nothing that jumps out on the bodies, then scope it. Awesome.
Okay. Constance, are you just looking around as well?
Yeah, I'm just looking for anything that might point to what the next step is for these kids.
Yeah, so we'll go in order. Sev, you find it's kind of squirreled away on these bodies. The couple obvious things, like it's easy enough to, you can take apart their weapons. There's about 12 knives in total, a couple great swords. You could take all the leathers that they have on, and the three vast kind of priest things. Each have their like medallions around their necks, and
Yeah,
that's
I'm absolutely taking those medallions and
yeah.
probably the leathers.
Okay. Yeah. You can write that down in your inventory. Zedicus, you're not getting much from this. It looks like
My
this is
passive would be 15, but I don't think passive investigation is really
your passive would be 15. You said
17.
17. Okay. Yeah. You are looking around for things actively, and pretty quickly you realize that this is a very pared down barracks as far as it goes. In the sense that, like, just like a lot of them didn't have any personal or any written anything, this place appears to be kept very professionally clean of such things.
The
Uh,
flophouse.
yeah. However, Constance, you find tucked away underneath the essentially like lockbox of what looks like the lockbox itself is pretty ornate. There's nothing inside of it, but you are like tapping around and realize it has a false bottom. And you find a note. The start of the note is clearly marked with like yesterday's date and urgent orders for what looks to be some kind of assassination contract. However, the remaining like bulk of the note is in gibberish that you can't identify right away. Like as you look at it, it doesn't look like it is a language you know. It just looks like gibberish.
Um, all right, well, I will share the note with the crew
Mhm.
and see if anybody else can make heads or tails of it.
Additionally, Zedicus, you find about 76 gold squirreled away in a variety of pouches, kind of just kept away in the like personal lock boxes at the base of some of these beds. So yeah, you've got the note out.
It's not in any language I can read, right? I got
No,
common
not
and
as far as you
infernal.
can tell.
I'm sure Zadicus can read it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's thieves can't. That's my good money on it.
Although everyone, I'm sure, takes a shot at looking at it, and then like, I don't know.
I'm going here.
Zadicus, give me a trying to think. investigation of this thing.
Oh yeah, that went so well last time.
You're improving.
It initially it looks like you could see Thieves' Cant as a base, but it immediately becomes apparent to you that there's some form of cipher on here to obscure it further, and you'd need to take some time sitting with it to try to figure out what the cipher key is to get the rest of it. But you can see, okay, it's Thieves' Cant base. I can read some of it, but the actual meaning of it is lost to you because it's just intentionally obscured.
Time. I don't know what we want to do in the meantime. I don't think there's much else here.
At this point, the Vanguard will say, I'm going to take the kids now. You finish up here.
No, she's where that vendor is. The vendor, the first one.
He will walk up to you, Dux, and just nod that stoic warrior nod. Perhaps we'll meet again.
Dux replies with the same curt nod. If the winds choose to blow in that direction, the leaves will carry me there.
He just nods sagely. He points over here where the tunnel he came out of, says, you aren't going to want to go up that tunnel.
All right.
Why's that?
Most of it is on fire.
Huh.
In theory, the fire should reach the explosives soon.
So we need to get out of here.
I mean, it's a ways down the tunnel, but not here.
Wait, explosives you said, or explosives that they have?
He just stares at you. Doesn't matter.
She's doing the calculations in her head whether or not she wants to run through the fire to grab some explosives.
Right, clearing out.
I'm going to take the children. Goodbye. You are all heroes of justice proper. We have done a good deed this day.
Beacon looks down at their blood-soaked clothes.
It was a pleasure working with you, Mr. Guard.
Yeah, it just stares at you for a moment and then nods sagely. The kids are walking past all of the corpses agog. And Vanguard just gestures, says, quickly. Try not to look too much. And they all go tromping in kind of a single file line behind him, back up, and then up the ladder, leaving you in here with all of the corpses. At this point, probably the investigation would ensue. Seb, you're stripping all the bodies down, taking leather armors off, shoving them in a bag. Oh yeah, these kids are there's going to have to be some therapy here.
Yeah, they're not gonna get better. They could be dead, but they're not gonna get better.
Zeticus, you ransack it for the somewhat meager amount of gold, but gold's still gold. And Constance, at that point, you find this note, and I'll reconvene back together.
We have lodging we should take advantage of.
Oh yeah, it's 4 in the morning.
The explosions.
I'm already leaving.
Everybody roll me a perception check.
this place is going to if this place is going to blow up, we don't want to be here. If there are going to be cops here, we don't want to be here. Like we can have our discussion of what to do next far away.
Zedekiss and Dux, you hear a very, very faint like pop down in the tunnel direction. Like incredibly far away, but you hear a very distinct like Beacon, you hear a very vague noise from over in the tunnel area. Sev, you don't catch anything.
I mean, us and Zedekiss are already
Yeah.
leaving.
Yep. All right. So you all, as you reach topside with that perception kind of carrying forward, it immediately becomes like apparent as you look up in the sky that there is smoke from. It's not close, but a significant amount of smoke from several, possibly like a dozen streets over, still in the financial district, but quite a lot of smoke, and you can. As you are walking back to the inn for the night, it isn't too hard to avoid them because they're not necessarily paying attention to you, but you do see a lot of like, for lack of a better word, cops like surging in that direction, especially as you leave the financial district and see some units from surrounding areas like very loudly running their way into that area to see what the fuck is going on. And yeah, you make it back to the inn.
I'll probably tell someone like while we're walking. You know, do you think we should have like put a sign like the whatever they're called is responsible for this? What are they called? They got a name, you know,
I
kidnappers.
think that indicates well enough we had no reason to leave a sign.
The name you were given, Dux, during your intimidation was the Special Inquiries Division, or the SID.
Yeah, I feel like saying all that was their fault was would be like, you know, sign of intimidation to them that they can't do business like this anymore without getting blown up, or you know, sign to the police that the special inquiries division is fucked up gang of kidnappers.
I think we would just have to be very explicit in saying that, otherwise they might think the Special Inquiries Division fixed this problem or something, you know.
It is surprisingly easy to get away with violent crime in this city.
Yeah, we've done it like twice in one night.
I mean, we should just eliminate the entirety of the Special Inquiry Division, and then it won't be a problem.
Yeah, but I don't remember anybody particularly distinguished in that building. There's got to be some sort of head honcho or like somebody more than just, bunch of dudes in a basement trafficking kids.
Mm-hmm.
Got an idea of where to start?
Who has that note?
I'm still trying to make sense of it. A group like this has got to have some serious backing to be able to get the police to look the other way, to operate with the impunity that they do. Whoever is
Yeah,
backing
it's
them,
not
we
like
should
they
be
don't have real estate.
Mm-hmm. My point is more that this almost certainly is larger than just the special What was it again? Special something division.
The
Special
SID
invest
inquiry.
inquiry. That's the one. Anyway, give me a moment. I don't know what I need to do to make sense of this note, but
You can do another investigation check.
great. Maybe I can get 12 this time. Nope. No, I can't.
No.
Oh
they
my
can't.
god.
It's
Good thing I
the-
have expertise in this.
the cause isn't like hopeless per se. It's just it's been a
No,
long
it
fucking
is.
night, Zadakis. It's been a long fucking night. You just need to rest, and maybe with new eyes, you could give it a look and make heads or tails of it.
All right, I'm either going to need a bed or I'm going to need the strongest pot of coffee ever brewed, and I'm afraid of what the latter would do to my heart. So I'm going to have the
I mean, we
former.
can find out. Steph is
At-
just gonna give him a real toothy grin.
At this point, it is about 5 or 6 in the morning.
Mhm. Uh, I will try this again in the morning. I don't think SID will be trying to move any more children this evening.
Also, to clarify on the
Dang.
quest parameters, so the following morning you are slotted to meet with the concerned citizen at around 10 or 11. To get your money, you just have to go back and go back to the minder and get the 400 gold for resolving it from the Capney side of things. There is an additional 600 on the table for figuring out what the fuck is going on with the concerned citizen, and also the concerned citizen themselves is valuing the meeting at 500 gold.
Yeah.
Vev is the name of the minder.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you might be able to, getting a long rest is probably out of the question if you do want to go to the meeting.
I want to go to the meeting.
Mhm.
At least for all but Beacon. Beacon's got the elf thing.
I mean, I still have to do I still have to rest for 8 hours. I just only am
Yeah.
unconscious for 4.
Who is looking particularly bad?
I am not even bloodied.
I'm at full.
I'm showing also at full.
Oh shit, I got chewed up, I forgot.
Okay, well, then it sounds like Beacon is the only one in need, so there's at least something.
Thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't have my splash of genius.
I assume we can at least short rest.
Yep.
I can drop
Short
a
rest is
die.
easy enough.
Man, sucks to not be a
That'll
wizard
do
or
it.
a warlock.
Fucking rules to be a fighter, heyo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say martial classes.
I'm gonna use a harness divine power. We're 7th level, which means I can do that twice. I'm gonna do that twice.
Okie dokie.
Level of which can be no higher than half your proficiency bonus rounded up. So that's 2 level 2 slots. Well, it's a level 2 and a level 1. Because now I have all my spell slots back.
Nice.
And then I short rest and I have all my channel divinities back.
Mm-hmm. A night without sleep is no big problem for most of you. So meeting is at, let's say, 10. Are you trying to get there right at time or shortly after?
Shortly before.
Before?
Or shortly before, thank you.
Yeah.
Shortly before, probably.
What a weird power play.
No, I think
Yeah,
we should get
purposely
there like
lie
5
early.
minutes late, you know?
Slightly late. Yeah, you all you like it is pretty apparent as you're walking by like the few of like town criers, the few like news inker rags you could see are like talking about the explosion in the financial district. Like even just walking by you can hear people openly talking about it on the street like holy shit, did you hear like 3 buildings blew up? Like fell into the ground?
Oh shit.
Vanguard does not fuck around.
Yeah, you get to the nondescript building that is Vev's place. I assume knock on the door.
Yeah. Thought about doing the knock on the door as you open it thing, but that seems rude.
There is a long moment, and then Vev appears at the door. Right. Am I to presume that was your doing?
I'm just here for a meeting.
Why
Right.
would
No, I
that
meant
be
the
your presumption?
explosion.
I know
We
what you meant.
set no
I'm just
explosions.
here for a meeting.
Okay, you would like plausible deniability then. Excellent. Yes, there's a meeting in here. Right this way, please. Uh, Vev takes a step back. It is a very small, like little cottage that is pretty well kept, except for the like kitchen area, which looks like an absolute mess. There are a little set of stairs leading down in the right-hand corner, and Vev gestures to the stairs and says, "Yes, the concerned citizen is waiting for you down there. I'm going to stay up here." Oh, is the matter resolved, and should I be paying you now?
Once this meeting is over with, or hand it to someone else, yes. I would just
Excellent.
push
Okay,
back.
well, I'll start getting that coin in order then. You all move rather fast.
That's why we get hired.
Hmm. They're like locked in a fixed position of doing the like pointing at the stairs and just looking at all of you.
Yeah, I'm already on my way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, in at the bottom of this like very small set of stairs is a kind of dingy looking basement with like a single table that has a couple chairs on it, like a light fixture overhead that casts just the center of the room into like this sort of warm yellow glow. And sitting at the table, the first person you see that is actually looking up at you now is a small red kobold woman dressed in a very dapper little suit. And there is a sort of wider figure with a bald head who is sitting with his back to you and is peering like forward over some papers that appear to be scattered on the table before him. The kobold backs the chair up and gets to her feet and says, hello. You are the hirees, I suppose?
We're here to meet with a concerned citizen regarding the disappearance of children in this city.
Indeed. I am the concerned citizen.
Hmm.
And you are?
How did you
Concerned
become aware
foreigners.
of the disappearances here? Surely this is a large enough town that keeping track of every disappearing child would be, well, impossible.
We have a very wealthy and discerning benefactor.
I'd like to go like walk around the table so I can
Mhm.
look at this dude. I
Yeah,
will go
it
up to
is.
one of the ends of the table.
Yeah, he is a rather old, but very like posh looking Dwergar man who has a very thick set of spectacles kind of on the end of his nose. His head is completely bald and he doesn't have any facial hair to speak of. He is like he has looked up, but he's going back to looking at the table in front of him and muttering. And you see Albie like leans a foot out to kick, like kick his shin, and he looks and goes, yes, my name is Benrum. Did you you didn't ask, did you? Right.
Pleased to meet you anyway.
It's yes. Albie, have you told them we have a wealthy benefactor? And Albie just looks at him exasperated. He goes, yeah, I have.
Yeah, and speaking of which, how did you come to, hire us instead of getting your wealthy benefactor to do something more, I don't know, political, whatever it is people with money do? She just sort of waves her hand.
It was determined that what we required above all was non-local violence for a non-local aggressor.
Well, I mean, they sure seem to operate pretty comfortably locally.
We're aware, yes.
And they're not professional at hiding, so. Well, I mean, they are. They try to be, but, I mean, fucking we found them.
How did you know they weren't local?
She
That's a good question.
smiles at Benram. And Benram looks up and says, it is the forms, you see, the requisitions, the papers, the money.
Go on.
So it's coming from outside?
Hmm.
Forms
First,
And
for
you guys got the
what
votes for the
exactly?
funds. Yeah.
Albie holds up a hand. This is out of order. We could run you through all of the accounts of the abductions, which, do you need a briefing on the abductions, or?
Of the children? No, I don't. I mean,
Don't.
we saw the way they worked. That doesn't.
Oh.
None of this is answering our question of what exactly how you knew that
Yes.
they were not local. After all, you're saying the forms, but this sort of thing doesn't commonly go down on paper. Plausible deniability and all.
Indeed. So to start, I guess, at the beginning of our true involvement, we have been tracking these cases for quite some time without much lead. That is until a smuggler over in Holnix, which you would know is like the nearest town down what they call the Winding Way, so like further in the underground. A fugitive of sorts from this outfit, with gear resembling the description of the kidnappers we had heard of, got himself smuggled out of Holnix some time ago. He did not give his identity, but he did tell the smuggler that he worked for an outfit called the Special Inquiries Division. We paid a substantial amount of money for that information.
Seb sort of snickers.
Benram speaks up again. So you see, it is the forms, the requisitions, the papers, the money. The bureaucracy says there is no such thing. Very exciting.
I'll take your word for it.
It is a special inquiry division, true, but for who? For what? It is a ghost in the paperwork. A mystery. But those of my order set about looking.
Your order,
Indeed.
which is
He smiles wide. It is not for me to give the name.
I'm simply trying to understand exactly whom has both an interest in this and the ability to reach out to our employer.
Albie, like, steeples her fingers and kind of pinches her forehead. Yeah, that would be reaching out to you, and your employer would be our employer, the benefactor. Benram here is a higher on, not particularly cheap either.
Okay, so it's your job to give us the name of your employer because you sure know who we're working for. It'd be nice to know that something fishy's not going on.
I cannot give you the name of my employer.
Well, you can't, as in you don't know it, or you can't, as in you aren't supposed to say.
True. To clarify, then, I will not give the name of my employer.
See, that's a problem because our employer is very concerned that in her particular line of work, where secrecy is paramount, that someone was able to simply reach out. And there are ways, of course, that we can find this information out. Largely, we're simply trying to make sure that we are working on the right side. Now, the work itself would seem to suggest that, but the work itself can be misleading. So,
If you would like me to establish a channel between my employer and yours more directly, that I can do, but I will not tell you their name.
Only if you're more discreet about this time. That was the worrying part. Apparently, you guys were not too professional when you reached out.
That would be my mistake, very likely, yes.
So you're the one who reached out.
I am the concerned citizen, so yes, it was me.
Right.
Um,
Boy.
Constance is going to go stand behind Dux
Mm-hmm.
and cast Detect Thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't do it subtly, but that's the best I can do is try and hide behind somebody so it's a little less.
Give me like a sleight of hand. Okay, not bad. Yeah, Benram isn't paying any attention, and Albie is very clearly focused on Zadicus, who is kind of taking the lead here. So yeah, you managed to get that off. You're focusing on Albie.
Yeah.
Surface level or deeper right away?
Well, I mean, I'll do surface level in case, as they're talking about it, she's thinking about who the contact is, but I want the fucking name of the contact. I want who they're working for.
Yeah, the surface level you're getting is they like are keeping the name conspicuously like out of their brain,
Mhm.
as if like already that immediately implies to you they have some familiarity with the person, as if to
Right.
say their name comes naturally to them, and so as to
Right.
not say their name verbally, they're keeping it out of their brain.
Right.
But whenever that like question of the benefactor comes up, there is a very like a kind of like it's hard to convey other than to
Mhm.
say that it is like belief. It
Mhm.
is like conviction in the rightness of what she's doing on behalf of the benefactor.
Mhm.
That's the surface level, right?
Okay, well, I'm going to push then.
Ooh. You try to push, and it doesn't quite take.
Great, I'll cast it again.
Okay. Give me another sleight of hand at advantage.
Okay.
Yep. This one does fail. Digging in deeper while Zadicus is Zadicus, what are you asking currently as Constance's? You're not coordinating with Constance necessarily, right? But
oh goodness, no.
yeah, the
Because I don't know that
conversation.
Constance is doing this, so
Mhm.
I forget what we were.
You were
Oh,
trying
no.
to push for the name of the employer, and Albie said that she will not give you the name of the employer.
See, my. Well, I can appreciate the need for discretion. However, the circumstances under which we've taken this particular work seem to necessitate a little more shared information. If your employer is certainly willing to divulge themselves to my employer, to whom you are, or with whom they are at least enough familiar enough to reach out, my employer's main concern is knowing where the lapse in security and secrecy have come from. And
Considering that, Constance, as you pry in further with the
Mhm.
failure on this one, the name pops up to you, which is this. The name of the benefactor, her name specifically is Aura, or at least that is what Albie's inner thoughts are
Mhm.
when referring to her benefactor, or her boss.
Mhm.
The other feelings you get are not this feelings, but the sense of like trying to figure out how to navigate this without completely compromising her employer.
Mhm.
And you also, in the considering of the job itself, like there's a long silence here where Albie is thinking about how to respond. And specifically, there is a bit of her being told by Aura that they need to stop at any cost, and at any at any measure that is required to stop kids from going missing like this. And that is kind of the mantra that is running through. Like, we have to stop. And she is clearly warring with whether or not that also includes, the necessity of disclosing her employer's information. You get all of that, like, in the detect thoughts flash. She sits down again and says, I don't know if I can trust you, is the thing.
Hmm.
don't know if you can trust us.
With the name of my employer, yes.
You did hire us, so
Yes, and for that I would pay you generously, I believe, but
Constance will take a quick moment and just let everybody know the employer's name telepathically.
okay.
Constance will say, well, if you won't tell us the name, you won't tell us the name. I just hope no more children are abducted as a result. We are committed to stopping these abductions at any cost.
Zedkis, give me a history check with advantage.
Dodge it into him. Dodge it into him. His hitbox is like
19.
19. Okay. Aura. That tickles something in your brain. And at a 19, you're pretty sure you've heard. You don't think Aura is the whole name. But you're pretty sure you like it's right there on the tip of your tongue, right? Like you're like Aura, either the first name, maybe the surname. You know it's familiar if you like get a moment to think about it, not in this particular moment. but it's just eluding you. Albie steeples her fingers and says, "Fine, fine. Um, her name is Aura. She is a very wealthy businesswoman. Um, I work solely for her, and we hired Ben Ramon to look through the paperwork when we began to get wind. Once we had a name, this Special Inquiries Division." Benram looks up as if he hasn't been paying attention to any of this, and he says, "The Special Inquiries Division does not exist. Most emphatically, it does not. It is very exciting. However, in the local chapter in Concordance, they risked much, but they found it very, very exciting." Albie just stares at Benram blankly and then pinches her forehead again. "Okay, Benram, hang on a second on that. Right, so you got my employer's name. Is that sufficient?"
Sort of- Oh, I'll look into it myself. What sort of business are they in that they finance this sort of thing?
They are.
The name.
I don't
Swear I know the
believe
name.
I will disclose what business they are in necessarily.
Fair enough.
If you want, I suppose you can find them. Sufficient to say they are exceedingly wealthy.
So, if I remember correctly, you guys have a job for us?
Yeah, well, I suppose the long and the short of it is we'd like you to find them and hopefully kill all of them, or at least resolve the issue here in the city of children going missing. Frankly, I was instructed to offer you 600 gold simply to meet with me. Um, it was judged then that if you would be willing to stop this from happening, well, it would be up to you whether you would take our money and run. There is money to spare.
Well, what's the payment for stopping this whole mess?
It was included in the 600 gold. I was going to offer you these 600 gold simply to meet with me, at which time I would then ask if you would be willing to resolve the matter, and at that time you could choose not to and leave with the money if you so chose. Not my idea, to be frank, but Aura is.
Yes, sort of
Uh,
misleading, because then there's no sort of, you know,
uh,
motivation other than the moral one to do a bunch of violent crime in the streets and find out who this big, scary, shadowy organization that is basically a ghost
Yeah.
to everyone.
Frankly, Aura believed that the motivation of stopping children from going missing would be sufficient, but I see
Yeah.
your
Oh,
point.
This
sure.
is all.
Yeah,
This is all
No,
rather
yeah, that
academic
definitely
because it's
is.
already done.
Yes, I don't know if we
What?
made it clear. Last night there was a young
Oh,
girl. Um, I I am sea touched. I also am of the type that these people are hunting down, and I caught a vibe last night very potently, and yeah,
okay.
we tracked it,
Uh,
and there was a kidnapping in process. We
can you?
interrogated the subject and um, tracked them to
Uh,
their base, slaughtered most of them, rescued a lot of kids.
okay.
We haven't cut the head off the snake, but like Rattletail is gone.
But have you destroyed their local whatever? How many were
Yes.
there?
Well, I
Lots.
mean,
If I give you a map, can you show me where this?
I probably couldn't, but I bet one of my comrades could.
There's a
Yeah.
hole in the ground where it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seven's just
hold
gonna
on a
say
moment.
like, yeah, you
The
go outside and you hear about it.
explosions in the fight. She
The
glances.
explosions weren't us, but it was where it was.
It was kind of us.
It was a coincidence.
Benram looks up
I
at
don't
this
know.
point and says, "One of two locations was in the financial district where the explosion may have occurred, if it happened in the same
Wait, where was the
place."
second one? Hold on. Whoa,
Well, we thought the other one was in the tapestry, but
So, spit it out. Where is it?
I mean, we don't have any further information. The most likely one was the financial district, but we did not know
Was the
exactly
tapestry
where.
where we kept meeting the Vanguard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've killed all of them then?
As many were in that room or in the
Were
building.
they a part of the Special
but-
Inquiries Division?
Yeah, absolutely. They were wearing the
Oh,
same gear and
You have
trafficking
found
kids.
verified proof? Did you interrogate them?
Not the ones inside.
Oh,
They weren't much for talking. Well, more to the effect of like there was 13 of them and 4 of us, and they just sort of started and
and you
6.
killed. You
1,
killed.
2, 3, 4, 5.
You killed.
Who am I
them
forgetting?
all?
Oh, yes.
Beacon puts
6.
up 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know that they are probably related to the concern?
That's not our concern.
The concern with a capital C.
I know who you're talking about.
oh
Albie's
yeah,
just
I know you guys
staring at
aren't
Benram.
I know you guys aren't ace detectives, but you know, she'll just like pull like the leather uniform out of her bag and just sort of throw it on the table. There's probably something there.
Oh,
Interesting. I mean, if you see someone in this sort of armor, it's really fucking trite. They're all like,
I have brought a copy of the paperwork trail that I believe establishes the connection. Does your employer want it?
I wouldn't mind taking a look myself.
I will explain for a moment then.
If I could just review, that might not be necessary.
Yes, I will also
Right.
explain. It is very exciting. He spreads a few papers out, Zedekias, and points to one. A brother in the chapter located in Concordance found an absence. The Special Inquiries Division does not exist, emphatically, conspicuously, and violently. There are verified accounts where there were accountants, investigators, inkers who investigated the name. Money changed hands, the transactions were recorded and noted. A paperwork trail, economic, legal, physical violence against the requesters kept quiet. Very interesting. Why would they leave the records of people looking, of asking questions, and the punishments for such things, and not eliminate the name outright? If you look deeper in all of the great engine of concerned bureaucracy, not a single instance of the Special Inquiries Division is ever officially mentioned, apart from the inquiries and their subsequent punishments.
That's sort of how Black Book operations are done, even here in the sea.
Indeed. Albie pipes up. To summarize, then, the concern is clearly involved in this, and not only are they involved, it is a high level involvement. High up enough to be able to punish with impunity, to make information itself go missing.
Yep. And this is how long has this been under review? How long have you been working on all this?
Benram looks up and says, "A year, 3 months, and 7 days."
Uh-huh.
So
A
Seth is
year.
gonna look to Zadicus and just say, "Wow, we fucking should just be detectives everywhere at once because we just come in, solve shit, and leave while people have like years of work to find what we find." Whoa.
Well, I think detectives are also supposed to
shit.
not blow things up. Usually.
Okay.
broadly
We did a
speaking.
lot of
Detective.
slaughtering.
Private investigators,
in
whatever you
fairness,
want to call it.
we hired you
TR.
for the slaughter, so I suppose
Okay.
Then our contractual business is done, is it not?
If your employer would like more information on this situation, please have them contact me at the UE. Until then, I don't know. A year. Wow.
Benram looks up at you. Zadicus says, Indeed, it took a year to gather the paperwork evidence required. It was slow and laborious work, but please, if your employer has a network of information, give this to them.
I will take it and read whatever it is.
It is incredibly dry, like financial ledgers. You can follow the gist of it.
No. Once I see that's what it
Yeah.
is, I'm just like, fuck this.
Yeah, you get like the first page and are like, okay, I got it. Yeah, Albie sets a bag down on the table in front of her and says, "This is 600 gold, as promised."
We appreciate that.
If your, I suppose, employer... I personally do not know who your employer is, though I infer that they are related in some way to the Minders.
Don't know anything about that. One way or another. Your employer simply reached out to my employer, which concerned my employer, who values their privacy and secrecy.
You want to know how we found out about their network?
That is what I asked, yes.
Broadly speaking, it is money, and even your Minders are not immune to it. Not the one upstairs, but there are other Minders in the city which were willing to talk about the Minder that conspicuously stood apart. From there, we contacted some criminal elements. Would you like the information for those individuals?
As much of a direct route and direct link as we can get.
Will that also take a year?
No. Although we will compile that. Is there a preferred location to which we could deliver that information, or
You can simply have your employer deliver it to my employer via the same communication method that they used to hire us in the first place.
very well. I suppose I should thank you for killing. Did you find any alive?
Children? Yeah.
Hmm.
They
All
have
the children
been
were unharmed.
they are safe now.
Benram looks up slowly again. We are trying to find out where they went. It is difficult. He
Well,
frowns.
The fewer people that know, the better. The fewer people that know, the safer the children remain. They are in good hands. If your employer would like to put some of their wealth to use in aiding those children, I suggest you look into your second lead. Perhaps someone there might be able to help you.
Very well. Albie kind of pushes the chair back and stands to her feet. I suppose the business is concluded then. I appreciate your promptness in this matter. I'm pleasantly surprised, all things considered.
yeah, and I mean, if you have any leads on the head of the snake, we'll absolutely go ahead and take care of that for you, provided your employer gives us some motivation,
You
uh,
mean you want to be
provision,
paid?
funding. Yeah,
Right, you
we
want
got
to be paid.
expensive provisions. She sort of hefts her firearm.
Mm-hmm. Benram looks up again. I and my brothers are endeavoring to find out where children were taken when they were taken. It will take time. To do a job such as
Wait,
this, you must do it right if you do not want them to run or move.
well, shoot your employer a message anyways, and if we solve it before you guys have any information, she just sort of winks and finger guns. You know what to do.
He just blinks very slowly at you. Very well.
You might begin your search with a company called Hectarian Traditions.
Oh, interesting.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you can see the the fucking gears are clearly he's straightened up a little bit and is moving a little bit faster as you start to walk out. Oh,
A year. Christ.
Man,
do
poor
you all?
guys. Man, if only the third eye was here, I feel like this would have been cleared up a little bit ago.
Do you all shuffle out?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you walk back upstairs, Vev is standing over by some very basic kind of uh stone, I guess with heating elements, stove kind of thing. And They take like food out and set it on the counter, and they say, "Would you like some food for the road? Otherwise, I'm going to throw it away."
Is our payment baked inside?
No, the
Oh, thank
payment is on
goodness.
the table.
Then, yes. Well, I haven't had anything. Been up all night. Appreciated.
When you look at it, it looks like to call it a pie is maybe too generous. In the sense that the consistency is all wrong. It is more of a slurry in the vague shape of a pie, with maybe the correct like constituent elements of a pie.
Like a meat pie sort of thing? Or like
It's
a
kind of hard to
fruit
tell.
pie?
Probably some kind of fruit. There doesn't
Oh
appear to be any
no,
meat
it's
in
hard
there.
to tell between meat and fruit.
It
Cody, that's a
probably
bad
doesn't.
sign.
It doesn't look like there's any meat.
It sounds like it's just a jelly and a crust.
Kinda, yeah.
Eh.
I've
I've
seen
spent
worse.
decades on boats. I've had worse. Let's go.
Zidkus, in one word, sugar. It's just got. It's just like whatever amounts of sugar you're supposed to, orders of magnitude higher. Like somebody just like to the point where as you're like sifting it through your tongue, you can like feel the crunch of just unmixed sugar.
So it's one of those like glazed turtle pies.
Kinda, yeah. Just with a truly unconscionable amount of like sugar poured in. Vev like slides the door and opens it up and says, "Well, you won't be needing the safe room then?"
I don't believe so.
That is annoying. But
I mean, keep it ready just in case.
yes,
There
yes,
may
yes.
be.
There may be. You left that open ended in a way that.
Another explosion.
There may be
Yes.
reason for us to come back, and it would be helpful to have it prepared.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
see, we would have had use of it had it been prepared already. So,
Ye-
therefore, having it just prepared already, even if there's no reason to, seems like a good idea.
I see your point. I was considering just letting you stay in the basement. But I suppose that does not a safe room make.
No, do you know what a safe room mean? Thank you for the pie. Thank you for the
Technically,
payment.
yes.
I bid you good day.
Yes, I believe if you got to the bottom of the other matter in this particular case, Kaphne herself will be paying you when you relay that information.
Right?
Right. Well, hopefully I never see any of you again. Have a nice day.
Thank you for the pie.
Just closes
See
the
you
door.
around.
As you're standing out on the street, after a moment, Albie and Benram come shuffling outside after she's like slammed the door. And they like walk out into the street. Benram kind of stooped and shuffling very slowly. Albie looks at the group. He goes, okay, yeah, we're just gonna go."
Steph is just waving.
Bye. Yeah. Yeah, bye.
So, we staying in town, guys?
I want to
Or,
get back on the boat and go to sleep for at least the rest of the day.
hey, Zadie,
Oh,
need
it's
I
on.
remind you, it's, way, way up there. She just points up. I think resting first, at least? I don't want to walk with, like, no nights of sleep. Well, I did it on the way down. Can't be that much worse on the way up.
There wasn't any elevator, right? It was just a road that winded down, right?
Basically, yeah.
It is actually definitely worse on the way up. Definitely.
Oh, I was playing on you carrying me.
I feel like I shouldn't admit that I can't do that, but I don't want to do that. We should rest first.
Fine, fine. You're making sense. Fine.
I apologize for making sense,
No.
Zedicus.
You're right. I simply forgot that it was that far back to the ship. Or maybe we could hire someone. Doesn't matter. I just want to pass out. I'm old. I've been up a long time. I've had no coffee. It's just. And this damn note and that damn name, I can't. Once I get real sleep,
All
I'll
right.
give the note another try.
All right. Let's pack it in. Go to the inn
Shh.
and
In.
sleep. Sorry, I mispronounced it. It's not.
Shh. Shh. All right.
All right.
You all go to get a bit of a day nap. Do you wake up, I suppose, around evening time?
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
guess we do.
Yeah. You begin your
Long
trek.
rest?
Yeah, long rest. It's early. It's early night time. You begin your walk back up. As predicted, it is slightly more laborious, though the sort of gentle and gradual incline, as opposed to a very strong incline, makes it not as difficult as you were anticipating. It is not necessarily sheer enough to be like walking super uphill, though it is quite noticeable after, like an hour, 2 hours. Additionally, there is still a good amount of commercial trade going up and down this road. Though there is a significant amount less of people using this thoroughfare at the moment. So you aren't walking shoulder to shoulder. In that way, it is superior to the trip down where you were kind of crammed like sardines into the crowd. And yeah, towards the midnight, you reach the top of the Great Way of Vish, coming out into the treetop city of Vishalgo. From there, you can see kind of with a higher elevation down where the docks are. It's still a fair ways off, but you could see your destination finally. Another probably hour as you descend back down to the ground floor and then begin your trip to the harbor. It's about 1 or 2 in the morning. And the first thing you notice as you approach is a fairly grisly display. The mast itself has currently since the middle of the night. You see Lim and Brim both lean forward to look and look very on guard as you all approach. Behind them, you can see kind of bathed in the light from the sea. 3 bodies sort of stacked with essentially the legs draping over the shoulders of the one below, pinned to the mast in a line with one of the bolts from a Yolbo rammed through each of their heads, and what looks like maybe a 2 or 3 foot length of something maybe frost rammed through their chests. And Brim looks over and goes, well, you're back, huh?
Yeah.
That's
Love
good.
what you did with the place.
Had a
Oh,
good
that
time.
wasn't us.
You guys okay? I'm sorry. What?
At this, you see Helig, who is sleeping in the hammock over by the Yolbo, gets to her feet and kind of scratches her head. Oh, yeah, welcome back. How was your
Nice,
trip, I guess?
decorations?
Oh yeah. We had some visitors, I think. Sneaky sorts.
Yeah. As we're getting onto the ship, I'm gonna like take a look at them.
Mhm.
They look like the same guys, right?
Yep.
Oh, that sucks. You. She'll look to Lemon Brim. You guys okay?
Yeah, Brim nods, says, "Yeah, we're fine." Though, and Helig like laughs and says, "Like I said, they're pretty sneaky sorts, and Lim and Brim have been asking me to stay topside to sleep throughout the night to be seen. Did not realize it was to be used as bait, but the more you know. So I was sleeping in my hammock over there by the Yolbo, the hammock. Lim and Brim were on the watch. It was pretty nice out. It was a good breeze. Um, did you guys? Was there a breeze down where you were? Where
To
you were under the
the
ground?
point, Helig.
Oh yes. Um, it it felt like movement nearby, right? I heard some squeaking feet. Brim says they were invisible in our defense. Helig smiles. Yeah, that's what they tell me. They were invisible. Unfortunate for
No,
them.
they can go invisible, but I mean, not like it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter when they get close to me, I got 2 of them. Lim and Brim got the other one.
Well, I guess we can shove off as soon as everything's ready, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lim and Brim haven't really told like me, or I think they told Mig, but they haven't told me why there are people trying to sneak specifically down. Well, 2 of them tried to come kill me. One of them tried to sneak down the stairs over there, or the ladder.
Truly a mystery.
Right. Also, you'll be flattered to know the captain said that we had to wait until you came back. So Brim here helped me make a little display to show off. To any other maybe new friends we would have. The local constables, I think, fucking hated it a lot.
Oh
They
man.
had to
Yes,
like.
when we massacred people this past 24 hours, we did
Oh,
not get caught.
hell yeah, great job.
Well, I mean, the local constables should shove it up their ass and do a better job.
Yeah, it was like first time I've seen this, but like they came and they asked a bunch of like blah 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 stupid questions, and then like Mig came out and was talking about the regulations and laws and codes and stuff, and they kind of just left a little frustrated, I think. So like maybe
That's
try that
Seelaw,
next time.
baby. Woo!
Seelaw?
I don't know. You guys got a
Okay.
special code, right? She'll look at Zedekiss.
No.
What? What?
Mig probably just annoyed the cops into leaving.
I mean, would you really want to argue with somebody on this boat? They pinned 3 bodies to the mast. Like, what sort of pull them down, leave them
I
here,
start
and we should go.
we start pulling them off of the mast and just hauling them over the side of the ship.
Yeah,
No,
you can
no,
see.
not in the water. On the dock. On the dock. Let somebody
You can
else.
see
take it.
It's too
now.
late for at least one of them.
You can see now what is like driven through their chest is like a 2-foot like spike made out of ice
Mhm.
that doesn't appear to be thawing.
Gonna go through
Yeah.
their pockets real quick before. Well, not the one that's already in the water, but the others.
Yeah, give me an investigation check as you rifle through.
Oh God, do we really want to trust
Zepha's
my
gonna
dice to
try and
this?
You've got it.
Hey!
Hey. On the two of these, you find 25 gold.
Leave that on the deck.
Interestingly, on one of them, like hidden away in a boot, you find a dagger that is made strangely. It has some very thin blue, like sort of veins that seem to be carved into it. And also you find a one of them, the one, and now that you're looking at it, it kind of looks similar to one of those that cast invisibility stuff below. Which you would guess, yeah, considering they were invisible. Has a little pouch tucked away kind of in a false lining of their cloak that has some powdered astral water in it. Or essentially powdered water of the sea here.
Seven's gonna see what the fuck is up with this ice spike that's not thawing.
How you doing that?
I'm gonna see if I mean, it's magical, of course. I just want to see if I know what kind of magic.
Uh-huh. Give me an arcana check, I guess.
Good dice. Did I DC?
23. Without like a detect magic or anything more, like you'd guess it's conjured, I guess. In the sense that because it's not thawing, it's not really like it doesn't seem to be subject to like the normal rules for things per se. So you'd guess conjuration of some kind.
Seven's gonna go ahead and try and like smash it on the floor, like on the deck.
Yeah, it smashes. And as you're like enacting force on it, then it shatters apart into what looks like ice. Like just normal ice.
Huh. Alright. She'll just toss the rest overboard.
Yep. Yeah. Um Yeah, you you dump one body into the sea, two bodies overboard, and give the captain the word to get the fuck out of Dodge. Which everybody on board at this point will happily do after the somewhat stressful 24 hours.
So I was gonna get down to the engine room and just like look up to the sky, like the ceiling, and just be like, "Hey, Cap, thanks for not leaving without us."
The little like pushes out a little card that just says protocol.
Oh, don't have to get all sentimental on me. She'll like ball it up and throw it behind her.
Zedekis, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I'm so good at these. Hey, 19.
Okay. At this point, this is the first one where you actually genuinely feel it for the first time. Something probes, and you kind of mentally swat it away. It's a very strange sensation. You realize you had done it before, actually, at least once. But this is the first time where through like repetition, you notice it for real. Like notice it actively, I should say, instead of passively. And yeah, do you do any more investigation of that that
Yeah.
slip?
The note.
Yeah, give me an either investigation or history with advantage.
They are the same roll.
Yeah.
So, luckily you did it. You are looking through this and pissed off and fuming at this point because it doesn't look like it's that fucking complicated. You should just be able to. You just gotta figure out one fucking word. Just one word, right? If you can get one word, you can break this whole fucking thing because you know how they did it. Okay. And a couple to that is this, like, what was that fucking name? And you realize at one point that one of the names you see here is Aura. You see like a very specifically a name. What follows then is you pulling it apart, and I will paste what it reads. The target is one Aura of Passion, second born to the Passion family, a wealthy fixture in the city of Vishalgo above. She's believed to have connections to the Board of Navigators. She's been making inquiries into the actions of the Special Inquiry Division and their activities within the city. Threat assessment evaluation concludes that, given enough time, her resources are sufficient to eventually make unacceptable inquiry progress. Extreme caution, careful consideration, and advanced planning are recommended. Discretion is absolutely mandatory.
And we found this on one of the kidnappers, right?
You found it in the what might have been one of the leaders there, but they had a, like, lockbox at the foot of their bed, right? That wasn't locked and didn't have anything in it, but there was a false bottom that Constance discovered
Got it.
that included this note within it. And yeah, you all get some sleep. It is the next day as you are going to travel to essentially the east side of the fields of Joresh. Zadakis, do you relay any of your discoveries?
Yeah, I will relay the whole thing. So I'm searching my physical notes, but I will relay the whole thing. Actually, before we get too far from Thist.
Mhm.
I know we just left we just left Thist.
Mhm.
No, this is Zadicus to whoever is around, while he's sort of relaying that he got the note translated finally. I know we just left the place, but okay, this will take some explaining. I reached out when we took this job. I reached out to some old associates of mine. The activities of the concern operating within Thist go pretty much all the way to the top of the concern, which is why I was rather concerned with getting that done and getting out. Also, why I you know what, that doesn't matter.
I guess you could say it was very concerning.
Don't please.
The word
Sorry,
concern has no meaning.
someone
had
anymore.
to.
I'm
I,
sorry.
I agree. I agree. It did have to be said. It was. But the point is, if they are not just operating with impunity in an area which should be out of their control, Thist is not part of the concern's territory. The Thist falls under the Unfettered Accord, along with, and he gestures towards Dux, along with your queen and various other members. Constance, I don't remember which.
The effort are part of the Unfettered Accord.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Same with Vosted and with Hearth.
Yeah.
and the people of the fields of Joresh, the coalition, I suppose.
It raises some concerning implications. Um, it, if I had to venture a guess, the Grand Admiral in charge of the concern, and especially given their recent civil war going on, has begun to kidnap the Sea Touch to use in their military efforts. This aura of
yeah.
passion is linked to the navigators, the board that rules much of everything here on the sea. It, the implication is that without the civil war raging in Ziz, between the Ziz and the Yun, that perhaps they would be moving against the navigators, which would definitely not be good for the sea. The concern is, realistically, if I recall, they're basically pirates without the name. They're pirates with a fancy name.
So we gonna tell the Sword of Passion? Can we bring her from
That's
here?
why we can't. That's why I thought I'd bring it up. So, if we wanted to, we could turn around and almost certainly keep this aura of passion out of the hands of the concern.
I mean, it sounds important considering she's a wealthy benefactor and all.
Do I have that right, Cody, or did I confuse? Yeah, no, okay,
Yeah.
Their enforces of blah blah blah.
Yeah, there were. Yeah, so this is the recent thing you found, and I also have pinned in our private chat the intelligence that you learned.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I meant the thing about the concern.
Yeah, well, the
They're the
concern.
ones that are basically like the East India Corporation.
Yeah,
where-
they're
yeah.
like the Admiralty, right? They call themselves admirals, and they are ostensibly the police of the sea. But it's like the trading company way of just being an excuse to do what you want, right? And to take tariffs and taxes from people that shouldn't have to pay them, etc. They've moved beyond like outright freebooting, or at least they had until the Unfettered Accord started kicking shit on, and now it's kind of turned back into into like piracy versus piracy sorts of things. So, do you turn around and go back to this?
I'm for it.
We can put it to a vote. None of us is strictly tied to this or anything.
Not at all.
I would also like to go back and perhaps keep this aura of passion out of the hands of the concern. Really, anything I can do to poke the concern in the eye is, well, it's just icing on the cake, so to speak.
I mean, if I feel like doing something so direct to help this person, their pockets are as deep as they say. We're getting paid for it.
I mean,
Fucking
nothing
better
says
be.
thank you like a big sack of money, so probably.
What would we be doing to help this person? Like, Well, if we turn around, what are we going back to do specifically?
Well, at the very least, warn them that they have been made by the coalition. Or by the concern, I mean. I have no way to contact them here.
Hmm.
And given their efforts to help the children of Thist remain out of the hands of the concern, I feel like it is the least we can do to return that favor.
And none of us have a way to contact without turning ship around?
I mean, unless you want to have the Vanguard do it for us. But he's sort of not in the same postcode.
Yes, I'm afraid I'm not familiar enough with Aura to send her a message. Perhaps I could send a message to Albie.
I mean, if we have to go back, we have to go back, but I just
We're not
want to
far
explore the other
out.
options.
Yeah, we're not far outside of Thist right now, so we don't have to go back all the way into the Barrows. We just need to go to Vishalgo, near the port.
Hmm. I have no qualm
Yeah,
with
that's
the
honestly half.
detour.
That's honestly half the reason I'm for it. Don't gotta walk down all that way.
Right. Unless anybody is steadfastly against it, should I just have the ship turn around?
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right. You turn back around. You aren't super far away, so not a big deal to head back in. As you arrive, park in more or less the same place. You see there are a handful of what are probably like the local, dock enforcers noting the boat and looking visibly tense. They don't make any sort of offensive movements towards it for good reason, you'd think. But they're clearly clocking that the boat has come back. And further, as you all are leaving the boat, fucking Helig takes a little stool and sets it in front of the gangplank, on the dock side of things, and is just sitting staring out at nothing, smiling and whistling to herself. It says, "Okay, you come back soon."
Back as soon as we can.
Okay. All right. It's a pretty big city, but you are pretty sure you know where to look, Zadicus.
Yeah, it was.
These things, there is an order to these sorts of things, and yeah, to the rest of you, Zadicus sort of just like a straight shot, down a road, turns left, a couple times seems to stop to look, but takes you to a fairly nondescript building that has an orcish woman out front, very well equipped with very fine plate armor actually, and a sort of billy club thing that looks like it is reinforced along one end with maybe diamonds or some kind of hard mineral. And she looks up and says, "Alrighty, what can I help you with? What do you need?"
I need to speak to the Passion family.
On what grounds?
Please just tell them that Zadicus Wavecrest of the Wavecrests has information regarding the safety of their child. I don't have time for this.
Who are you looking for specifically?
I am looking for the Passion family.
Let me go look around and see if anybody by that name is currently working here. Wavecrest, you said?
You're
I
really going to
believe he
pretend?
said the wave crests.
They nod, still keeping a very blank expression, and turn to walk inside. And as the door shuts, you can hear like a bar going across it from the inside. After a moment, they come walking back out, and they say, Mr. Wavecrest, interesting. Firstborn or second?
My sister is second.
Interesting. And the child of passion you are looking for, is this their firstborn or their secondborn?
Second as well, or second-born.
Aura. Well, I suppose then come on in. She opens the door and gestures. The inside of this is just a fairly like, again, it's one of those like nondescript kind of office spaces. Although this one looks like it is well used. There's a lot of busy work, a lot of like financial transactions that seem to be occurring and passing through. This place is clearly not a front. It is humming with like efficiency, people running. And now that you're inside, you can see it goes back a fair ways from the street. You can see like pages walking paperwork from department to department back and forth. Almost nobody pays any attention even to your particularly weird group as you pass through. As you all pass in, the guard bolts the door shut and gestures for you to ascend stairs. She takes you up, veers a little bit to the right, goes down a hallway, and then proceeds to go through. It feels maybe intentionally like maze-like. There are bizarre rights and lefts and rights and lefts and rights and lefts, and all along there are like little singular offices and office rooms and office spaces. And finally, she arrives at a door at the end of one of the hallways, and on the front of it, all you see on the door is a placard reading "Secondborn." She gestures to it.
I just go through.
Yeah. Sitting behind her desk is Aura of Passion. She is her in terms of, she is a tabaxi woman, and in terms of her like patterning, it is more of a leopard in like format. She is dressed in a very very fine robe, and has a lot of like ornamentation and jewelry kind of draped all across her hands. There are rings and banglets and like bracelets. And across her desk is a variety of papers that she neatly like stacks up. And as she looks up, she glances at you, Zadakis, and you would think her age is probably 30s or so. She looks up at you, Zadakis, and says, "Am I to presume you are the Wave Crest?"
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. I really can't stay, but you are in danger here. It would seem that the concern has taken taken note of your interest in their activities, and I will produce the note. It,
Yeah, she takes it and reads it over. Huh. Interesting.
yes, you hired us through.
Albie, yes.
Yes,
I
well,
was informed. Um, Zadakis, Wavecrest?
yep.
You prefer Wavecrest or Zadakis?
Zadakis, please.
Are you aware that the Hikials are involved in this as well?
Yes,
And
the
not
Grand
on our
Admiral.
side.
I am aware. Yes. By the way, um, I I understand it took your agents a year to find this information. Um, eh, it, you might consider finding a better firm. I was able to discover this in, I don't know, a week.
A
Just
clarification, perhaps.
just throwing that out there. That's all. Regardless, you are still in danger. Is the entire reason we turned our vessel around from our next uh, our next port.
Thank you. Two follow-ups then, since we are doing a transaction here. The first is that the Hikios are, well, her eyes glance to the rest of the crew, like your crew. You will understand how important they are, and you will understand how it is quite bad that one of theirs has married into the admiralty of the concern.
Hmm.
They are involved in this and not on, well, my side. I can't speak for yours.
I have no love for the concern, if that's what you're asking.
Indeed, but one of the families has allied with them.
One of the families of the navigators has allied with the concern.
Indeed, the Hikiels. Yeah, to clarify, Ted, the Hikiels are one of the
Yep.
families, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
I missed that they had. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. Well, uh, this is. I admit I have been out of navigator business for some time now. My
You
youngest
said
brother,
Baxter, yes?
yes, he is overseeing the affairs. My our mother should be advising him still, so I can't imagine that the Wave
Ah,
Crests will.
you don't know? You don't know. Interesting. Your mother is dead, I'm afraid. Some time ago.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. You haven't been called home?
I have. I have been avoiding it.
Oh. Are Zedekis. Are you the black sheep? I suppose that isn't a real title, simply a designation.
Yeah,
Each of the
I
families
know
has
what the
one, I
moniker
suppose.
means.
Yes. Every family has one, at least. You were the firstborn, correct?
Correct.
Interesting. I suppose they are probably looking for you.
Yes, yes. I'm sure they've sent Casamina after me years ago. Not a problem.
I'm sorry
Okay.
to be the one to tell you about your mother.
Yeah. You are you going to be safe here? If not,
Now,
you should probably relocate.
now that you have told me, yes, I believe so, and I appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Right. Yes. Well then.
You do not speak for your family any longer, correct? I
Not
ask because I need to know if this is official business or a private kindness you have done me.
the latter, I suppose.
Hmm.
I I don't speak for the Wavecrest family at the moment, no.
Well, Zedicus, she takes out of a drawer a sending stone and slides it across to you. Things are going to get rather complicated on the sea fairly soon, I suspect. Best if those of us in the black sheep business keep in contact, yes?
Yes, fine.
I could tell by your terseness you would rather leave, and so I will not keep you any longer. Thank you for the information, and again, apologies that I had to be the bearer of such poor news in exchange.
I will pick up the sending stone and leave.
Mm-hmm. All right. I assume Zadicus just storms ahead, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just walk
Yeah.
out. I'm not being rude or
Okay.
anything about it.
Yeah. You all are led back out the front. The orcish woman closes the door, and like essentially does a like deferent gesture, kind of tilt of the head to you, Zadicus.
I'm just heading straight back to the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, easy enough. Uh, you have noted by the time you got back, there is a significant like constable presence that seems to be forming, trying to decide if they're gonna like do anything about this. They are very visible, although they aren't making any. Again, they're not making any offensive actions. You do kind of like go through the crowd of them as you pass by Helic to get back to the boat. Are we heading out now then? You get what you needed?
Yes, we're leaving.
Right, take that as a yes then. Okay. Goodbye, people who didn't think I could hear them. Have a nice life, probably. She gets up, walks back up onto the deck, and like sprawls out in her hammock. You set the course for the blah 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 details we'll cover later, much later, I presume, Zadicus.
Yeah, wherever we were headed,
Mhm.
the plains of Dresh, I think, fields of
Yeah.
Dresh.
To handle the warlord. Yep. All right. What
God, does that
speed?
mean we have to go to the port of Aerith? Oh, God.
You gotta go buy it. Depends on how big you want to swing around it. But yeah, before we decide all of that, I suppose in light of everything everybody's just seen with Zadicus, is there any scenes we would like to have? Because we'll probably call it and have our stopping point be you all leaving the port to head off to this, to put down this tyrant / warlord. So is there a sort of final discussion scene you'd like to have on the Zadicus stuff?
I feel like at least Sev is gonna check up on him because I don't think she's seen him like that flustered on anything. And it was very apparent.
I was just gonna say there's nothing I would say that would be not horribly uncouth, um, but I think Sev's gonna get that covered anyway, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you expect me to do
So,
any better?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
like,
thanks,
no.
Max. But
Yeah, I mean,
Nah.
before
the
they
good news
make
in
a
this
move,
situation is that Zadicus is definitely with the right people to provide meaningful emotional support, given the news that he's just got.
Zadicus, I will offer
Yeah,
this to you.
absolutely.
Do you get ahead of it by calling for a meeting to describe any of this, or do you wait for them to trickle into you?
Or even specifically, do you hide and
Yeah.
and refuse to talk about it with anyone?
No, he's not gonna hide. He probably would, like, at some point just have a. We should probably go over this, but it's gonna be more about the mechanics of the navigators and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically, that there are the two major. Well, I guess two of the three including the Unfettered Accord at this point, like 2 of the 3 major players of the sea are about to have a major sort of civil battle because the concern in marrying into the Navigators is kind of a mess.
Yeah, I guess if you're describing to everybody in like TLDR version of the Board of Navigators, they are the like closer to like the true like board as in the sense of a business. I don't know to what degree you explained the like sphere side operations of things, but seaside at least they are
As much
essentially
as they can take without being bored out of their minds.
yeah. The Board of Navigators is a somewhat secretive organization of a few families that that kind of dominate several key industries, as well as uh, some representatives from sphere side conglomerations. Broadly speaking, the Board of Navigators strives to remain neutral to the degree that they have been trying. Their headquarters was in Hearth, and there's been some problem recently because they have to find a new place to be that isn't in Unfettered Accord territory or in the Concern territory per se. Because the Board of Navigators is all about the money, the trade, the keeping things moving. Um, they kind of just stay neutral and facilitate trade. So as Zadicus is describing it, yes, it is a bit of a bad thing that
The,
they're
the most important thing to
yeah.
take away is that the Hikiel family that is part of the Navigators, they made their money through weapons. They
Hmm.
are the primary exporters of the astral water, gunpowder, and they have just signed in with the Concern, who are basically the cops. So the military industrial complex and the cops just had a baby. And it is not good news for everyone else on the sea.
Hey, wait, okay. So you mentioned that there were sphere side operations too, like representatives that were part of the board.
Mhm.
Are there any like out? Do you know of any corporations that might have their fingers in the board?
There are a number that there are 7 seats on the board, as it were. 4 from the sea. The 3 from the spheres are controlled by the Magnetic Consortium representative, the ICW representative, the Inner Sphere Coalition of Worlds. I've only met a few of these people a few times. They're very, well, dull parties. And the Sphere Mercantile Conglomeration representative. Basically, anybody who has enough money to buy a seat. I can't tell you any of the major players in those groups, but it shouldn't be that difficult to find out. I can look into it if you're looking for someone in specific.
Well, I mean, Cody, would any of those like big overarching
Uh,
corporations would Alico or anybody that we've found
so
previous linked to the Minders be in on that?
in theory, Alico being one of the largest magnetic ore producers probably has
Mhm.
a the like the 3 mega corporations that are responsible, the Magnetic Consortium representative is a singular representative from those 3 companies. So theoretically, yeah. To what degree they could sway everything, apart from the number 1 largest and the I believe second largest because they're the third largest, right? In theory,
Right,
if it goes by the 3 largest, then yeah, they would be there. But how much power they would have, you have no way of knowing.
right. But I mean, what seems suspicious to me, as far as that goes, is again the magnetic consortium. Alico might be there on the board, and I know for a fact that they're responsible for kidnapping minders and all that stuff, and with all the experimentation and things that have been going on, as well as your new information of this arms conglomerate marrying into uh the concern, it feels like the board, or at least people in the board, are gonna sway to the concern. And I feel like both the Heltic family, whatever their name is, and somebody sphere side, there's something fishy going on in my eyes.
I mean, yes, that is without a doubt. Um, I probably should have said something when we were in Pendeldock, but it seemed sort of superfluous. Another of the Navigator families is the Deep Hail family. You might remember Deep Hail Security was the ones who handled many of um, the constructs that were taken over by
Yeah,
our
see,
lamp friend.
that fucking really is concerning, because if that lead is true and they were the ones partially responsible for it, or responsible for that kind of experimentation along with everything else, I feel like that whole entire board's gonna flip on the concern, on their side, I mean. And
To the concern, yes.
yeah, and machines of war, weird horrible experimentation, uh just abominations, etc. I mean, we handle them pretty well, but on the battlefield, I have no idea how the fuck that's gonna turn out. And I mean, it's just bad shit that they're doing, so do you think we should fire up a plan to somehow end the concern?
With one ship.
That would be virtually impossible for us, as it stands. This seems like, well, at least I can speak to, Aura, and if I really had to, I could. He looks like he's about to throw up. I could go home. But even with the passions and the wave crest, we'd have to know how the other two sphere side seats on the board are coming down. I doubt there would ever be a formal agreement between the full power of the navigators. I'm sorry. Yeah, the navigators. And the concern. They have been. Craig,
No,
no.
Craig.
Weird. We're so close, Craig. Just get us across the finish
Now
line.
recording.
Okay, continue.
We can't really say how the. I can't imagine there would ever be a formal alliance between the navigators and the concern against the unfettered accord. It's simply. It seems unlikely that the people in charge of the board would ever want to give up their individual domains, their seats of power, simply to deal with, well, what many of them see as simply an upstart pirate group. No offense, ducks. I am simply.
Um,
Go ahead.
well, there are two things about that. The first is it seems that as far as members of the board and people in the family, they're kind of unaware of the other shit that's been going down, sphere side or otherwise, because you know, I don't know. It just feels like this is something that they should have a vote on, but there isn't any votes. It's just people moving under the table until, poof, one day everyone's over here and there are like two families here and they'll just remake the board with the people who all agree with them and have the most money. Or you're going to be out of it and, you know,
We definitely need to have a better understanding of exactly what the concern is up to. What is their end goal? Attempting to splinter the board of navigators. I mean, I suppose they could
well,
simply
I
be
mean,
trying to take it over. But again, we'd have to look into the other two sphere side instead of seaside members.
right.
Oh God, I can reach out to my brother. Oh God, they're gonna try to make me come home. I know it.
Daticus, I don't think we should worry about it. And if anything, I think just relaying this information to our employer would be the best course of action because they seem concerned enough with all this going on and the strange happenings that have led us to these conclusions to maybe make us take some more direct effort towards this goal of sort of stopping this whole business. I
Mhm.
feel like all these jobs and gathering stuff has been a test both for our trust, our discretion, and our uh abilities in general. But I feel like if we've gotten this far, the next step is to do something more direct, or at least more directly pointed at what the concern is up to.
I agree. The next step should be to at least pass this on to Caffrey. See what they know. This is very convoluted and very much in. I finally found a way, and now somebody's going to break the goddamn world before I can get it there.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. You said you had a benefactor, Zadicus?
What? Oh, for the
You
mod
said you
ship.
had a benefactor. Oh yeah, for the mod ship.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, yes. I told you not to worry about funding.
Okay, I mean, well, next time I was in Pendledock, I sort of wanted to stop by the shipwright so I can maybe make a very hefty purchase, if you're catching my drift.
You have a design?
Working on it, but I need a ship first, see how everything runs.
Wait, you want me to buy you a ship just so you can design a ship?
Well, I'm not going to be making it from scratch. I mean, hell, any old junker with working engines will work just because I'll probably retrofit everything in. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna sit there in Pendledock and do a shipwright's work. I ain't that kind of gal. I mean, I am, but they just take longer than it would have to if I just got the bones.
Oh God, that sounds like I'm gonna have to contact. I'm gonna have to go. I'll have to contact my brother for some Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. Can't do it while we're on the sea though.
Right. Okay, any other
That
intel,
seems like an
Zeticus?
odd specification.
Well, I mean, I have no way to contact home. To I don't have a benefactor because I am the benefactor. The Wavecrest family is very wealthy.
Yes.
I just
But you
want a boat.
individually aren't.
Well, I mean, I'm supposed to be on the board. I'm supposed to be running the company, but I mean, that basically sounds like hell. Chained to a desk,
Yeah,
pushing
no.
papers, there's things to explore, and you want me to worry about ledgers? No, I left. There's all kinds of foolish traditions that I'm sure won't. The point is to get the money to get a ship, I will have to reach out to my family, which raises its own problems, but I'll deal with those when they become an issue.
Sadicus,
Hmm.
would you like to tell a story about your mother?
That is to put a pause on it. That is way worse than anything Sev or Beacon could have ever said to Zeticus. Unpause.
It's kind of sweet though.
Often, when people lose a loved one, they like to tell stories about them.
Another time, perhaps.
Would you prefer to have some food so you don't have to tell stories? That is also a frequent occurrence when someone loses a loved one.
I'm fine. I am not hungry. I mean, I will.
Oh, hunger's rarely the point of food in such a situation.
It has been.
Eat your feelings.
Do you have a recipe for that, Sev?
She'll just sort of space out and just be like,
Well, I usually just hoard a bunch of packs of those like freeze dried crisps that they give us
Hmm.
back home, and then when I get sad, I binge the whole entire hoard. I don't think we have those here. Your food is much better.
I
Honestly,
will
it's anything,
improvise.
but it can be anything. It's just most of the time when you're really sad, you have no energy to make anything worth anything. So you just get the quickest, most tasty thing in arm's reach. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? She sort of backs up meekly.
Yes, but that is why I am offering to make something, so that Sadicus will not have to. I will improvise. And Constance will go to the kitchen.
That's really, thank you, but it's not necessary. Once I have spoken to my family, I'm sure there's just a misunderstanding. It will be fine. I spoke to my mother before leaving for the spheres not that long ago. She was in perfect health. There should be no reason that anything should have happened. We have large concerns, what with the possible fate of the sea going on right now. Just it'll be fine. I'll speak to my brother at some point. Hopefully not my sister, because that means she found me.
Alrighty. Any final scenes anybody wants to do before we fade to black on the end of chapter 1 of Sea and Sphere for now?
After that, like at night, I would like to stop in for Zadicus, but if anyone else has anything first with anyone else.
Anyone else? Okay. You're up, Sev.
Yeah, Sev is gonna like probably really late at night just go down to Zadicus's room with 2 cups of coffee and knock with her elbow.
Come in.
Could you get it for me, please?
Yep. Well, right. Oh, hello.
Surprise, it's me. She'll like just walk past Zadicus in his room.
What
And
does
set a
Zadicus
cup
wear
of
to
coffee
sleep, by
down.
the way? Does Zadicus have like slippers?
No, he just takes his boots off,
I
hangs up the
look,
fancy vest.
I just want to know if there was anything whimsical. Like a sleeping cap.
No,
Sleeping cap.
no.
Okay.
I can't imagine Zadicus with a sleeping cap.
Alright, continue.
So look, I ain't gonna mince words, but I would like to clear up some things about your expedition.
Okay.
And it might involve some family talk, but you don't gotta get emotional. I just strictly want to know what's going on and all that sort of thing. Because you said your family is going to be the one providing the funds, right? But as far as I can tell, and as far as you act, they're not really approving of your swashbuckling adventure lifestyle. So, do you think they'd actually give you the money for a swashbuckling, adventurous suicide mission, as far as they know?
He will pull out the very fine and fancy maps that he has and unroll them on the table and point to the one singular blank spot in the dead center of all the maps. If I can map this, I'm done. That's what that is. This has eluded my family for generations. It's the last thing for us, for not me, not just myself, but for all of the Wave Crests who have done this since the sea was settled. Maybe once that's done, I take my spot on the board like I'm supposed to do. Maybe then Casimira could go home. She won't have to spend her days chasing me. I think
Well,
if they understand that this can be done, then the Wavecrest legacy in the seas is complete. It is finished. It is done, and I can go back. And if that is not enough to get me the funding that I need for this, then they know that I will continue to seek it elsewhere. If that means doing more jobs for Caffrey until I can afford it, I will do that. If that means, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe we launch a swashbuckling attack upon the concern and I take their coffers. Either way, he jams at the paper. I will map this. It will be done.
she'll just sort of go up to the table and like sit cross-legged on the floor next to Zadicus. Hey, I mean,
look, I feel like we both know you wouldn't be happy if you had to sacrifice this. She sort of opens her arms and points all around for being on the board. You know, if that's the ultimatum they give you, I don't want you to take it. I mean, that's all up to you, but still, I know it's important to you, but exploration isn't done. There's still the falls. There's still space, the sea, plenty of places uncharted.
There are. And I would very much love to be the one to chart them. But
Yeah.
if that is the price of finishing this, I am more than happy to let them think that I am willing to pay that price.
Also, let me back something up. You're third born, right?
No, I am the eldest. I am supposed to take over. Casamina is supposed to keep me alive, because if anything happens to me, she is exiled or executed, if it happened. And she had the ability to stop it, and my younger brother Baxter is currently in charge. Like I said, we have some very ridiculous traditions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Casmia should be the one in charge, and then your
Oh,
brother should be the one
absolutely.
in
My
charge of protecting her, right? Because
no,
I feel
see
like that's a
the
fool's errand. If you sunk without a trace somewhere in the sea with nobody around, then she's just gonna be out on a wild goose chase, and second in
yep.
command's never gonna have a seat. And then third, what the fuck is wrong with that?
Well, the
I
second's
mean,
never
I
supposed
feel
to have
like
a seat, because if the second can have the seat, then it falls. I mean, she. If the second was conniving enough or wanted it bad enough, they would just kill the first. So the second becomes it's a
I
dumb tradition. It's all dumb. That's why I
Z-
left.
Zedicus, I know you agree with me, but I just have to point out another thing. If you are conniving enough as the third child, you can just kill both the first and second. That's stupid. Why does it go like that?
I mean, why why do I even have to be on the board when I'm I'm not suited for it? Baxter, truthfully, is not suited for it. He's a soft-hearted little eh, bookworm. He belongs in a library somewhere, not on a board. Look, the whole point of all this is I have no desire to sit behind a desk for the rest of my life. What
Yeah, and I don't want you to have to.
I am not going to be able to adventure forever. I am old. I am driven still, but once this is done, and this is perhaps the most important thing ahead of me right now. Well, like I said, I'm happy to let them think that I would be willing to come back. I ran away once. I can run away again.
Sev, when you mention I'm old, I won't be adventuring forever, like you see her like very slowly start to look away from you as you're talking and start scribbling something down in her notes. Ba-ba. Okay. Uh right. Hey, I mean, I'm sorry about your mom too. That probably wasn't the best way to hear about it.
It was a shock, to be sure. I'm not sure I believe it. Still, the Navigator families are very secretive, very insular, very. There's no reason that she should know. That Aura should know. I mean, I
Yeah, I mean, that's, it makes me feel like there has to be some foul play. I mean, you said she was in perfect health when you left, and how long ago was that?
5 years ago.
She sort of blinks and sort of examines Zadicus. How old is Zadicus about? I know he looks kind of young and, you
He's like
know.
50, 55. How old am I? 55.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, never mind. Well, I mean, it just feels like the board's eating itself. What do the wave crests even do? Not in like a sorry, that's condescending. What do they do? What's their sort of role? Because arms, that makes sense. Magnetic ore makes sense. What's the wave crest's deal?
Sort of gestures towards the map. This is there is not a map, not a chart, not a navigational aid out there that does not come from my family. This does not is not limited to the sea. Several of the spheres owe their charting to our family. Also, there are the less than legal aspects. I spent some time in my youth as a smuggler. That's why I was able to reach out to certain less than savory individuals about the situation in Thist.
Hmm. Well,
Not people. I want to be clear. We don't smuggle people.
right. Um, yeah, I mean, I assume not because you're like a decent sort, but like, you never know, I suppose.
I mean, I sailed for several decades, so for my family, I mean.
And they were involved in like smuggling and illicit stuff, right?
Illicit is perhaps yes.
I mean, don't gotta sugarcoat with me, buddy. I have a corporation breathing down my neck. I ain't in any position to rat. Plus, it's just not good form. And, like, if weren't doing anything like bad, if you're just smuggling whatever, like, fine. One of those like people.
No. Goods,
Although,
materials.
Zadicus, she'll just lay back down on the floor. There's too many layers. The board's fucked. Ah, shit.
Now you see why when I was supposed to take over, I hopped on a ship and went out into the spheres.
no, yeah, I feel like everyone should do that. I feel like, ugh. Okay, this is gonna sound super crackpot, but like, I feel like you should try and convince your family to resign from the board.
That does
Because
sound
again,
crackpot, yes.
if my crackpot theory of your mom being missing or deceased based on foul play and
He's
the
fine.
illicit things going on with your family smuggling routes, etc. That seems pretty valuable to people who want to do a lot of smuggling of people, minders, parts, aberrations. So if they do some sort of hostile takeover, oh boy, that's gonna get ugly for your family.
Thank you for that wonderful bit of
What?
relieving news. I appreciate that.
What? It doesn't seem like you care about him much.
I care about my family a great deal, which is why I want to finish this. This is what we have. This is what everything has been for.
Zadicus, then why is going home so hard? I mean, it's not like they're gonna
'Cause
detain
they'll-
you and make you stay.
Oh no, they would. They absolutely would.
The fuck? I mean, yeah, but they're not gonna like make you work. You can't make someone do that unless there's like a promise of violence. Trust me, I know.
Okay, one of these days I will introduce you to my sister, and you will understand.
Gah, jeez. Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit more than I'm equipped to deal with. Wait, what do you mean? No. You gotta back up. They're not gonna like keep you at a desk with like a dude in a billy club ready to smack you in the head if you don't file papers fast enough. Like they can't make you work. Plus, you've run away already. It's not like they can keep you there.
Uh, I escaped during my father's funeral. I'm not proud of it, but I knew that I would be the one tasked with running everything.
Not your mom?
No.
Why not? Jesus fuck. No, I'm not going on another tangent of how stupid it is. But yeah, I mean, you sure guessed right, but again, what are they gonna do? Give you 3 lashes if you don't do their bidding? Like, I don't get
mean,
it.
Magical compulsion, guilt trips.
Oh, that's way worse. Magical compul. They really do that. They're like, so. I don't understand. You don't like them, but you care for them?
It's not that I don't like them. I just don't want to do the job. I want to do this.
Well, if they fucking liked you, they wouldn't compel you to magically do paperwork. That sounds like hell.
I don't think my brother would do that. My mother certainly wouldn't. But the major domo. Oh, he definitely would. Oh, this.
The who what
This-
now?
Oh, the. Oh God, what was this? Perfect. What is this asshole's perfect name? I've lost it.
You got it in a fucking villain name generator.
Really did.
Ash Devonshire.
Ash Devonshire. That's it. No, there are people who help run the company who definitely would do that sort of thing to continue the traditions of the Wavecrest family. It's I'm telling you, Seb, there are few things more strangely monstrous than wealthy families.
Yeah, I can tell. Shit. Well, I'll work on a design and get that into like proper blueprint form. Uh so that when you do eventually maybe go home to see your family, you'll have proof that you can chart this part, or at least proof that it's the best chance that anyone will ever have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The,
unfortunately, I
the
do
good
think I
news
need
is
some researching first.
okay. Well, the good news is the Passions, who are ostensibly on our side at this point, they are the main. Their speciality is in modship and modship uh, construction. So once we,
Oh,
well, the
yes.
materials at the very least, of the ironwood that modships are made from, that is their main thing. So we have an inn now, and if I can get the money I need and the crew, I'll speak to Beacon about that again at some point when I have a better idea. We can do this. We can do this.
Right. I do want to make sure your squishy mortal self does get out of there alive. Hell's knows I would be really fucking upset if one of my ships killed somebody. Or, like, didn't perform the function right. Something that I've been sort of tinkering around, uh, with in my head is some sort of, you know how those, wave collars or shapers or whatever they're called, they use the water to propel themselves through the sea at like ridiculous speeds.
Sure.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking something like that, but the ship's moving on its own, so it's not providing propulsion, it's providing sort of a blanket where there's no current, no anything,
Yep.
just a whole blanket of water around the ship. However, I don't know what your
Sev,
intel on the
I'm just gonna.
what.
I have no idea what you've just said, but I trust you to build it correctly.
Okay. One last thing. Actually, she'll stand up and grab her mug of coffee. Uh, you don't know if that thing is magical, right? She'll point to the center of the map.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Oh, yeah. See, that was my other concern. Is trying to have some sort of magical barrier while also projecting anti-magic, that can't go well. Sort of like a
I have
convex hull of
absolutely no idea
anti-magic.
what you just said. I do
Right.
not do magic. I think I'm the only one here that has nothing magical. I mean, Beacon, they have the bond thing and the fog. That feels like some magic to me. I don't know, but I occasionally know
Well,
things. That's it.
anyways, uh, hey, take care of yourself, okay?
Mhm.
And she'll walk out.
All right. So, at that, we will. I will banish Craig to the liminal space for the last time for a while in this particular Discord. We will hit the pause button, and if everybody is okay, then.